Hello NRI friends, welcome to SBNRI, the next generation NRI banking. My name is Mohit, I am a CA by profession, CFA level 3, and this is the ninth video in our video series, and in this video we will be covering the taxation part on the NRI bank accounts. So before we get into the video, I would want you to know that taxation is something which cannot be covered in one single video. So we will be coming up with 4, 5, even more videos on taxation where we will be covering each and every aspect of taxation individually. So to start with that series, today we will be discussing about the bank accounts in particular. So without any further ado, let's start with it. In this video, we will try to cover the NRI taxation with respect to the different NRI bank accounts. Then we will try to give you an overview of the basic taxation on these accounts. And by the end of the video, we will be stressing on the NRO account and discuss the taxation on the NRO account in detail. And why we are doing that, you will come to know about it as we move along with the video. So to start with, there are three separate bank accounts, the NRI bank accounts in particular, which are the NRE, NRO and the FCNR, which is non-resident external, non-resident ordinary and foreign currency non-resident account. So in my all of my previous videos in the series, in most of them I have covered these accounts. If you have not been following, I would request you once again to visit those videos, watch specific in detail videos of these accounts so that you know about them in detail before we move ahead. To give you a brief overview, the NRE account is used for maintaining the income that is generated outside India. The NRO account is used for the purpose of maintaining the income that is generated in India. And the FCNR account is basically a tool for foreign currency investments in India, wherein you can invest your foreign currency, which can be any of the major global tradable currencies such as the dollar, pound, euro, etc. And you can choose for a tenure from 12 months to 60 months, that is 1 year to 5 years. So this was a particular brief in terms of the accounts, but since we are discussing about the taxation today, so the NRE and the FCNR account will not incur any taxes, but the NRO account is subject to taxation and the taxes are deducted at 30% along with surcharge and education cess. Now you know why there is this difference in taxation, because since both NRE and FCNR accounts are used for either the currency or the income that is generated outside India and the foreign currency investments in India. So there is no taxation on that particular fund, and also the interest that you accumulate on those funds is free from taxes. But when we consider the NRO account, since I have mentioned that it is used for the purpose of maintaining the income that is generated in India, so you are liable to pay taxes, which is deducted on 30% along with surcharge and cess. So this was pretty much the overview in terms of taxation of these three separate NRI accounts. Now we will move ahead in this video in terms of. So if we talk in terms of an overview of the taxation with respect to these three NRI accounts, it can be concluded that for both NRE and FCNR accounts, no taxes are deducted, whereas for the NRO account, the tax is deducted at source on the interest earned on the funds lying in the NRO account. So coming to the topic of taxation on the NRO account. So what are the funds that exactly you can maintain in the NRO account, and what are the taxes and how are they deducted from these accounts is something we will try to understand in this slide. So to start with, there are certain categories of incomes that can be deposited in the NRO account, which is listed out here. I'll read them out to you and give a brief about each and every point. The income from property owned in form of rent. So for example, if you have any property in India and you're getting monthly rent out of that property, so since it is an income that is generated in India, property that you are holding in India, so that particular fund will be deposited in your NRO account, and the interest that you accumulate on that account is subject to TDS, which will be deducted at 30% like we discussed. Then you have the monthly income such as pension or salary. So if you are getting any sort of salary in India, that is also deposited in our NRO account, which is liable for taxation. Then the income from any business or profession. Likewise, if you are getting a salary, or if you have any sort of profession or business in India that is generating any sort of income for you, that is also liable for taxes, and those funds are deposited in the NRO account. Then the income from interest on the NRO savings and fixed deposit account. Now this is a very interesting point. We have discussed that the interest that is accumulated on the NRE and the FCNR is not taxable. But the interest that is generated on the NRO savings account and the fixed deposit account is taxable, because of the very same reason that the income is generated in India. So that is why it is taxable. The next topic is the income from selling property. So you might have a house like we've discussed in the first point, and you're getting rent. But if you want to sell that property once and for all and get some gains out of selling that property, that is also taxable in India. And when talking about real estate, like I have already discussed when we started out with the video, that I will not be covering each and every part of taxation in this account. This particular video is only focused on the different types of NRI accounts, which is the NRE, NRO and FCNR. We will be coming up with more videos where we will be discussing the real estate investments such as mutual funds, stocks, and every other investment vehicle, various asset classes in detail in the upcoming videos. So just to let you know that this is just in terms of the various NRI accounts. The next is the income from investment done through NRO accounts such as mutual funds, stocks, etc. So again, if you are having some money in this account and you opt for investments from that funds in any of the investment vehicles such as mutual fund, stock, or any other form of investment, then the interest that is accumulated from those investments are also liable for TDS under NRO, which we will be discussing in our further videos. I will be coming up with a separate video on real estate. Another video will be there in terms of mutual funds. The next video is on the topic of PMS. So you will be getting details of each and every investment vehicle separately. So you don't need to worry about that. We have got your back. Sorry, and another important point to note here is that the investments that you do from your NRE accounts, again in mutual fund, stocks, or any other vehicle, if you opt for any other opportunity through your NRE accounts, that is also liable for TDS. Now, until now, we have discussed that how NRE accounts are completely and freely repatriable. That was only in terms of the bank account and the funds that is accumulated in the account, and the interest that you're getting either in terms of savings accounts or fixed deposits. But if you opt for any form of investments in the Indian market, then the gains that you get out of those investments are liable for TDS, which again we will be covering in our further videos where we will talk about taxation on various asset classes. Now discussing NRO account once again in detail, and this particular slide holds something that I have been pointing out in every video of mine before this video. So if you have been following the series, you would have this example by heart by now that I have always been putting after discussing the NRO taxation. So like I have discussed, the taxation on NRO is 30% tax along with surcharge and education cess, but you don't need to worry about the taxation in terms of the percentage that I mentioned here. They might be deducting 30% tax at source, but you are always free to go for a tax refund depending on your income tax slab. So again, I will explain with the very same example that I have been doing in all my previous videos. So for example, if you fall in the 15% slab, so you can also have the table of the tax slab in India for your reference. Before we get into the example, we can also discuss the tax slabs in India. So if you are earning up to 2.5 lakhs in India, so then you are exempted from tax. And if there are certain slabs defined of above 2.5 lakhs. So if you fall in the criteria, say 2.5 to 5 lakhs, then you have to go for a 5% taxation. Similarly, there are slabs, and for every slab there is a stipulated tax rate that you fall into. So you can get or you can look at this table for your reference. Coming back to the example, so if you fall in the 15% criteria, that means if your income tax slab or the taxable income for one financial year lies between 7.5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, then you can opt for a 15% refund. So you have an NRO account in India, 30% tax is deducted at source, you fall in the 15% slab, you opt for a refund, the refund of 15% is given back to you. So this is how entire taxation works on NRO. And that would be all for the video. In this entire video, we tried to discuss the taxation in terms of the different NRI accounts, which were the NRE, NRO, and FCNR. The next video that I will come up with will be on the portfolio management scheme, which is one of the investment vehicles or opportunities you can choose to invest your funds in India. Along with that, we will also be making videos on different sort of taxations that are liable with investment opportunities such as mutual funds, investments in stocks in India, and every other possibility out there. So we will be trying to cover each and every topic in detail for your convenience and ease. In the meanwhile, while you wait for those videos, don't forget to like this one, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so that whenever we come up with a new video, you get the notifications first, and you are the first to get the notifications. I want you to do that. Just hit that bell icon, and don't forget to visit the website, join the wait list. We will be very soon launching our app, and we want you to be the very first beneficiaries of that. So just stay tuned for upcoming videos, and don't forget to like. See you in my next video. Bye.